it and go now, but as we know, when we start these off, they always lag a little bit. So I'm just waiting for the computer to, yes, apparently we are live. Happy days. So apologies for the slight delay there. The new YouTube thingy gets a bit of a delay at the bottom. Anyway, I'm Matt and welcome to this live session. In this live session, which is kind of like an RC coffee chat. I've got a cup of coffee. You might have a cup of coffee. You might have a beer. That's all right. It's just a bit of a chit chat. We have, just to keep you up to date with some of the things which have been going on, we have the Wild Thing 46-inch now finished. We have the Mini Wild Thing. We'll take a look at that in a moment. And we've also got a live unboxing as well. And we've got some other notes in here which we'll be taking a look at this morning. So where do we start? I tell you what, let's start with the foam it had. And apologies, that was the microphone. And let me get my notes so we stay on topic. And apologies, I can't see your chat down here on the left-hand side because YouTube stopped working on the iPad, which is a bit frustrating. So yeah, we've got a number of topics to cover this morning. The first one is that I want to give you a quickie update, which is the Wild Thing 46-inch slope soaring wing has been finished. She has also been flown as well. I've got the video footage for this, which does need editing. And to give you an early heads up, one of you lucky people will be winning this model. And look out for a live episode sometime in the very near future where the title will be A Model for Life, because that's the best way of explaining a Wild Thing 46 is that they are a model for life, because they're just not going to break. In short, and if you do break, it's only a bit of tape away from being fixed. So look out for that one in the near future. I'll just pop that one out the way. We do have new foam here with us this morning as well. We'll be taking a look at that. Also, before we go any further, the Mini Wild Thing. Now, you may or may not have seen the video or my pre-maiden thoughts on this one. Yeah, and again, you can probably see it up in the camera, or down there, and that camera down there. You may have seen the pre-maiden thoughts. I deducted 0.5, well, of a point, because the instructions were a bit lengthy and there was something else, or something about the control horns. Really, really minor stuff. Absolutely brilliant. This one's also been out and flown as well. Those of you in the Facebook group, I'm sure you've already been seeing the maiden footage of this one. Bit windy on the slope, and Matt had the rates a bit high, to say the least, and it was absolutely bonkers. So if you haven't seen that yet, that'll be published out on YouTube in very shortly as well. So I'm just going to pop this on the side, and I am just going to quickly nip back to the computer remote just to make sure you can hear us nice and loud and clearly. Just looking at your chat on the right hand side. Yes, good morning Harry Haggis, good morning Lee, Henry and Bernie, and Nibil, good morning as well. So apologies for that. Like I said, I don't get the chat. I can't get the chat anymore on the actual laptop. Sorry, on the iPad anymore. Anyway, taking a look at our notes for this live session, we have Toothless in the box, and you may be wondering, Matt, what are you talking about, Toothless? It's the Excalibur, and the reason why I call it Toothless is because, you know, like in How to Train Your Dragon, the Toothless comes down, it goes whoosh, it makes that beautiful noise. That's exactly the same noise what an Excalibur makes. And I have been a very, very good boy for the whole month of January. The only RC part which I bought was, I think it was 12 servos, which haven't even arrived yet. So I was really, really good in January. And again, that was just maybe a month of Lent, for example, it might have been, but I was a really, really good boy in January. And I've had a big clear out here. You obviously can't see what's going on here in the background. But I've basically thinned the number of models down by at least half. I'm running with about half at the moment. There's a couple more which are off to get new homes. There's one or two which I need to do like a mini review on at some point, because I feel that it's worth me sharing my opinion, like the Wargo Yak 55, a model which it's over there and it's in pristine condition because it's only been flown twice, because I'm really disappointed about it. And again, that's why some of these need little videos made on them before they go on and find new homes. Anyway, onto a more positive point. I noticed, and it's Andrew Bolton's bloody fault, is that I was on chatting to Andy, and he mentioned, oh, HobbyKing have put some search filters on the left-hand side, which is LED navigation, by the way, which is definitely a step forwards. Just needs a few more attributes for it to be made useful. Anyway, while I was on there, then one of the top items was the Excalibur, and it was on sale for a $1. It's like, damn you, HobbyKing. So you may have seen the post a couple of days back in the Facebook group. I think it was on Saturday or Sunday. So it's been and turned up today. Happy days, they've actually employed free shipping now here in the UK. So you can either have Parcel Force 48 for free, or you can have Parcel Force 24 for $4.99, which I feel is fair. That's happy days. We've always complained about not having a free option, and there is one now. So Matt was quite happy, and I was also quite happy to wait the extra day. For me, it makes absolutely no bloody difference. And the reason why it makes absolutely difference to me is that I don't mind waiting that extra day. And also, when it comes to Parcel Force, they normally turn up here first thing in the morning. So this was here by 10 to 8 this morning. So happy days. Well done for choosing Parcel Force as a career HobbyKing. In short, I do like Parcel Force an awful lot. Anyway, moving on. So we will be unboxing that in a moment. We have... the EV100, the FPV goggles, let me go and get them a second, is that in the Facebook group I did do a giveaway for these, and I'm just going to have a quick look at your chat as well. Good morning, Arsloff as well, Skylight, good morning, Ranks, Rob, and I think apologies I missed your name in there. We did do a giveaway, and that thread is now finished in the Facebook group for some EV100 goggles. The winner will be announced later today. Okay, they have been chosen, but we need to go through the 4 runners-up first, because there were some very, very good entries, to say the least. But there is a definite clear winner, and we'll announce that in the Facebook group later today. Now, on the topic of giveaways, is that I'm looking up there. There are 2 S800s. There's a Chuck Glider, there's 2 Micro Sky Hunters, there's a Zoe HD Orbit Wing, and maybe 1 or 2 other bits which I've got lined up. Oh, and another pair of EV100 goggles to do a giveaway with. Now, I had always planned to do that when I hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. Inadvertently, I kind of hit 7,000 now, so you can tell that things have been busy, which is good, which is good, you know, and that's why perhaps I'm a little bit late here for an RC coffee chat here this morning, because 6:30 I was in the coffee shop, because there's a chunk of code which I need to get written. I've got very tight deadlines at the moment, so work is taking precedence, but we're here, new foam has arrived, and why not? Pause for a quick slurp. So we do have a big giveaway going on very shortly, and also I don't normally not really into big giveaways, but it's special time, and we've also had the Wild Thing 46 inch, which will also be done in a giveaway very, very shortly too. Right, brings us on to the main topic for today, which is the Excalibur. And I've been very, very good, because Dave's had one of these, and I've seen other people, and I know I think they were a very well received model when they were first launched. Because they are adaptable, they're great for line of sight, they're great for slope soaring, and there's also an FPV pod which you can put on the top as well, although I've not really seen many people FPV in these, to be fair. But that said, they seem to be like a really good all-round model. It's always, for me, it's always been a cost thing, is that, and again, I've always been a little bit wary, and again, I'm thinking back to the Tundra, which was alright. I flew it a good couple of times, and to be frankly honest, I was never. I need to get my spit more words. I need to get this correct. I understand and I appreciate why some people absolutely love the Tundra. There's circumstances, and I understand that, but for me, it just basically wasn't fast enough. Okay, that's the basic summary. And my Tundra went on to find a new home. Also, storing the Tundra was a pain in the ass as well, because most of the time the wings were kept on. It was a huge, great big model to be kept in what is a very small space. So yeah, it had to go on to a new home. So it did, and I think it's still in one piece, which is happy days. Which I'd be surprised if it was more than one piece, because they are really, really robust models. However, every time Dave gets his Excalibur out, which sounds very wrong, is that I always got jealous. So when I saw it on sale, I was thinking, I've been a really good boy. I've not bought any models, any new foam for at least a month, and I've done a really big boy clearing out a load of other models as well. Why don't you treat yourself, Matt? And I was like, oh, okay. I'll treat myself. And that's why we've ended up with an Excalibur on my desk here this morning. So we'll get ourselves in there. Just for absolute clarity, and I do feel that it's always worth mentioning, this model was bought out of my own money for my own abuses. As much as it's cool that HobbyKing send out free stuff to people, I do feel it kind of biases, well, it's not just HobbyKing, but other companies as well. I do feel free products do bias opinions. And as such, we don't do freebies on this channel. In fact, the only one freebie which I've had inadvertently was the Wild Thing 46-inch, which is going to be given away. Because it wasn't mine, but I've been and built it for you, and when we do the giveaway for that one, I'll send it anywhere in the world for you as well. So with that said, let's go and get this one open now. They're supposed to be, oh, the kids are going to love this, by the way. They really do like the Stampy Poppy stuff. While I was there, I did also grab, which I'm a little bit which I'm sure you can see up there on the top camera, I did also grab 2 batteries while I was at it, and inadvertently I found another 2 of the 1800 mAh packs on my desk. I did grab myself another Zippy, I'll put that on the top camera so you can see, a Zippy 2200, I think that's the 25C. Those have been pretty good. They have been really, really reliable. So that's the one I've got myself an extra one of those. I'll not put it on the radiator, I'll put it down there on the floor out the way. Another battery which I've personally been really, really impressed with. It seems to be one of those rock solid batteries which I've not managed to puff yet. And I've got a couple of them. I'll just grab myself another one as well, which is the Nanotech 1.8 4S as well. And again, it's not a massive capacity. That one was definitely, I think it's more expensive than the 2200 Zippy. But from just previous experiences, they've done really well. There's not, again, this is, if you look how square and rectangular that pack is, my used one, which I've had, well, my used ones, which I've had here for quite a period of time, say 6 months or so, they have shown absolutely zero sign of puffing. So that's always a good sign to me. So I've been and grabbed another one of those as well. So let's get those off the desk, and we'll get the Excalibur out as well. Now, the Excalibur, from memory, it came out last year. It was one of the, I think it was more like spring, I may be wrong. I think it came out in the spring of last year, maybe even before that. And it, like I said, it has been around for quite a while. The known issue is around the motor mounts on these, because they do come in and they do land quite hot, in short. So we know about that. It's just the way they are. But on the flip side, the 400 quid, I really couldn't resist, because you don't really, you never see them for anything less. And well, I haven't seen them for anything less. And I think they have been up on sale before, but I've been a really good boy and not been and grabbed one. So anyway, I've finally given in and grabbed one. And the missus, she saw the box there this morning, I explained what it is, and she knew which model I was talking about. So that's always a good sign, is that when the better half knows what model I'm talking about, she knows that I've been chatting about it for a while, and have been interested in it in a while as well. So let's go and get this one open too. Oh, just looking in there, they have included a nose cone, just like the EF Extra for slope soaring, which I'm sure you can see up there on the camera, which frankly I'm never going to use. In fact, I know for a fact that the nose cone for the EF Extra I threw in the bin. Only yesterday or the day before, I found it in one of the boxes. So that wasn't going to hang around. Well, there's no point me keeping it, because I'm always going to have a motor in the end. Actually, to be fair, because I've seen so many of these with broken noses, it might not be a bad idea to maybe keep that, just in case I really, really do kill it. What else we got? Just having a quick look in the box. Oh, happy days. I'll tell you what. Right, there's 2 things to note in this bag. Number 1 is the screwdriver. The last Durafly item, which was the Tundra, I've still got the screwdriver. Really good screwdriver. I really do like that. So that's going to go on the side. Also, it's a positive sign to see that they are using, I'll put that on the top camera for you as well, just there, is that they are using ball joints by the looks of it for the control horns, which is, well, the clevises, which is always a good sign. So you always know you can have a decent connection there. We've got some bits and bobs on there, some propellers. we'll get these wings out as well. Now the wings, that wing is surprisingly heavy. And surprisingly stiff as well. That just caught me off guard a bit. That wing, the weight of it is actually surprisingly heavy. That didn't feel, I didn't think it was going to be that heavy. Really, really, really nice foam. Nice foam hinges. You can also see, I am right as well. Can you see, if I put that round that way, okay, can you see in that hinge, and then I put it round that way and you catch the light, there is a layer of glue in that hinge. I swear blind there's a layer. Yeah, they've reinforced the hinge. So yeah, Durafly is like it's HobbyKing's premium band, not as high as Avios if I remember from correctly, but those Avios models are very specialised for those of you which like scale models with scale decals, which is definitely not my personal cup of tea. But that said, I do appreciate why people do. Oh, there goes the camera. I do appreciate why people like models like that. The build for this is all pretty straightforward. One thing which I will. Oh, look at that. That's nice. I don't know if you can. Oh, you will be able to see this. Is that in this fin? Not only have they got two pieces of, I would guess glass fibre. Just looking at it, I may be wrong. Two pieces of supports in the V-tail. And then, but also, if you look in the surface itself, we also have a little strip of carbon or glass fibre in there as well. That is a really, really nice touch. One thing which I really do not like, but it can't be that bad, personal opinion on this one, I really do not like those control horns, okay? And the reason why I don't like them is because they're only glued in and there's no physical restraint on the back, which you can see up there, of the control horn. So personally, I would not have gone with that control horn, but they're known that I haven't seen anybody moaning about them being pulled out, so they can't be that bad. Just learning from my experience with the Tundra is that one of the, I think it was the elevator servo, or was it the rudder servo? One of the rear servos would just basically got really, really hot and was trying to kill itself, and that was brand new out of the box. So one thing which I will do is that on my desk, there was somewhere, so looking for it, the servo check tester. I will check each individual servo before we put any of this together, and the reason for that is just previous experience with the Tundra had a dodgy servo in it, and it was an absolute pain in the ass to change. These hopefully won't be, well, hopefully they'll be fine. This is a V-tail model, so I'm just going to quickly stick these bits in the back so you can see roughly what it's like. I'm obviously not going to spend any time to put it together, but that's what we mean by V-tail, like so. That does mean you do need to mix in rudder with your elevator. Now there's two different ways you can do that. You can either buy a third-party mixer, which will do that for you, so you just put elevator and rudder in and it will do the mixing for you. Or if you're using like a Tyrannus, it's very, very simple. You just put half elevator in with half rudder, and then you do that on the two separate channels, and then the transmitter will then mix it for you in the transmitter. That's basically what I'm going to do. How you do it on a Spectrum or another one, no idea at all, to be honest. Taking a closer look at the actual model itself, nicely designed, to be honest. It looks, I'll tell you what am I doing? I'm just going to hold over that way. Look how sleek that is. Let's see if I can poke in the eye. There is an awful lot of gravity to this model, to say the least. That is a stonking great big motor, which they've been stuffed in the front of this. Nice moulding. That's one thing which you can always say about the Durafly ones. That's one thing which I really liked about the Tundra. Or the other thing which I know I've said a few negative things about the Tundra, but some of the things which I really did like about the Tundra was the ease of build and the quality of the components, which of the quality of the actual build itself. If we put that one servo aside, the rest of it was absolutely fantastic, and that landing gear really did hold up to some serious abuse. Those hinges are really good, and yeah, they have smeared. I don't know how well that's going to come out in the light. I mean, might need to turn it around that way, but there is a definite smear of a glue all the way down that inside edge, which is a very nice touch. There's a glass fibre rod going up through the centre section there, and it looks like a carbon fibre square another main spar which is going up the middle as well. So happy days. Move that one out of the way. We'll have a nose at this fuse section to see what kind of battery which we can fit in here as well. Nice and straightforward. I went for the plug and play kit, and the reason I went for the plug and play kit is that I bought the Phoenix 2000 as a kit quite a while ago, and if you've ever tried getting a motor in the front of a Phoenix 2000 and know how painful that is, trying to work in, again you can see on my desk up here, trying to work in no space at all, it is extremely challenging. In fact, it's even worse on that model, and this one doesn't look like it's going to be much fun, because if you have a look up in there, which I hope you can see down in there, there's just zero space to work in. So plug and play for a model like this is actually normally for me a very, very good choice, because you get a matched motor to go in there, you get with an ESC and propeller, and you get a whole proven package. One thing which I know that Dave had an issue with his when his Excalibur turned up was the brake was not set by default. I'm guessing it's just in the first menu. I didn't actually see any instructions here, but to be honest, it's so straightforward you don't really need them. One thing which I do perhaps feel, and again, I'm really... Oh, they're probably on the box, hopefully. One little minor point, okay? It would be really nice that in part of the molding process, so if HobbyKing, if you're watching this, to mark the CG on here somewhere, even if it's just a sticker, a line, or maybe just a little dimple somewhere on the actual wing itself, because it does catch us out having an incorrect CG from every now and again. It even caught me out. What was it? 2 weeks ago, Mini Talon V2 over there. Matt kind of forgot to check the CG on the flight line, threw it, and you try flying at a very, very tail-heavy Mini Talon, and it didn't end very well. And actually, there was a video on YouTube of it going in the ground. Thankfully, touch wood, it was all right. It just a little bumper change on it, and a few little minor changes for the mount itself. So I did get away with that one very, very well. And by the end of the day, she wasn't looking as pretty as she was when we first took her to the flight line, but by the end of the day, she was all trimmed in, CG was set absolutely perfectly, and all the vector was configured. So I just got a few bits to tidy up on her, and when she goes out next time, she'll be a happy day. So coming back to my point, for the cost of a sticker or something in the moulding process to indicate the CG, I feel that would be a very, very simple improvement to what is already a proven model, to be an absolute great flyer. No idea on what the KV of the motor is. I'll put a link to the HobbyKing site in the video description for you. Having a quick look, motor windings look absolutely superb. The motor moulding, the actual grinding on the back of the motor looks fantastic. ESC is in there, sat in the bottom, which I'm sure you'll be able to see just there. As far as the receiver goes, we do have a few servo connections sat in here. I'm sure that double joined one there, I'm sure that will be for the ailerons. What I will do on mine is set them up with, is it called it flaperons? We'll just put a little bit so that we can kill some of the speed off. So I won't be using a mixer or just a Y split cable on mine. I will separate that out onto separate channels, and yeah, should be straightforward to do. That does mean I need a bigger receiver, so I'll need a 5-channel receiver, well, at least 5 channels, because we've got 2 ailerons, 2 servos at the back for the VTOL, and also the motor as well. So yeah, I'll need a 6 or 8 channel receiver. I do ironically have a spare X8R and an L9R kicking around, taken out from a couple of other models. That's probably what I put in this one. And then just looking at the spacing now, I will Velcro it up. Besides that, moulding's absolutely fantastic. What else? Before I carry on drooling over this, I will take a quick look at what else we got in here. What do we get in the goodies bag? We get 2 spars in the box. Don't know why or where they go. I'm sure that will become more apparent when I actually pay some attention to it. We are missing some bits. There's the motor nose cone with... That's never plastic. Alright. Yeah, it is plastic as well. That's frankly a little bit disappointing. Is that the spinner, the prop for the folding props, is that it is a plastic unit. I would personally prefer to see aluminium on there, maybe to the grade of, say, the EF Extra that has an aluminium or machined aluminium prop adapter. Is probably the best explaining for that. So that is frankly a little bit disappointing that it maybe cheaps out on that, but it does look like it's got glass fibre in it. There's no markings on there. Yeah, if you hear that, can you hear that funny noise? There's definitely glass fibre in that, so happy days. Mounting plate for the back, 2 skids, which I've no idea where they're supposed to go. I'm guessing they go up here somewhere. Again, I need to look at the instructions or look at the box. Now, with that said, what I am going to do, I'm just going to pop this out of the way, and I am going to pause to take a look at your comments and questions which may have come in. So I did have the laptop here in the background just running. I am going to get that one fired up. And again, apologies for this. Normally what I would have is the iPad here running in the background with your chat, and I could check on it every few seconds. But that's not the case, unfortunately. So let me just go and get myself logged in a mo. And we'll have a look. So Brian's order, it says, so HobbyKing have changed their shipping options for the better. Yes, they have. That's for sure. And by the way, you can see the comments which have come in as we've been going along. And now I'm just getting a chance to take a look at them. Ranks, good morning, gents. Keith says, I wish I lived near Matt. I could do with some of his unwanted planes. Yeah, I had to be rather mean, and I mean really mean, on some of the models which needed to find new homes. So the majority have found new homes. What doesn't find a new home will find other ways for them to exit. Good morning, Roddy, as well. Let's have a quick look. Henry says, are you going to iNav this? No, absolutely not. This the Excalibur for me is purely for mucking around on the flight line, just line of sight. I have one thing which I did notice last year, towards the end of last year, is that as much as I personally enjoy FPV, excuse me, just get some of the dust off my desk, as much as I've personally enjoyed FPV last year, is that what I was noticing is that towards the end of the year, is that I was enjoying line of sight flying more. Sounds a bit daft. That's nothing to detract from FPV at all. I just found that I was enjoying FPV line of sight an awful lot more. In fact, I've got a rare bear up there which must get fixed, because I want to take that one out next time I'm going to going out flying, because the rare bear was just so much fun for line of sight flying. Again, it was absolutely bonkers for FPV because it literally does about a ton in a straight line, and it's absolutely nuts. But line of sight, absolutely brilliant. The moves which you can pull off in a rare bear is bonkers. Again, the Excalibur, the EF Extra, really good quality models which go bonkers fast. And I've watched Dave fly his, and he just basically takes it up to the top, turns it back round, makes it powers on. And there's a little tip for you, is that when you get it to when you get it to stall it, so it does its turn, and as it comes down, as it just tips over, if you give it a punch of the throttle, and obviously make sure you put the brake on the ESC, is that will help it go in, and then it just comes down like it's almost like terminal velocity, and then goes whoosh straight across the flight line. Very, very addictive, and I finally caved in, being bought one myself. Okay. Lee says, line of sight scares the poop out of me. Line of sight with dodgy pilots around you scares the living daylights out of me, Lee, to be honest. I'm sure that we've all been in those circumstances when that person next to you really should not be flying for any time more. It's time to quit. I'm sure we've all been in a scenario like that at some point in time. But that side, line of sight, it's really, really good fun. Lee, I definitely would not suggest an Excalibur as a good line of sight model. I would definitely suggest a much cheaper model to get into line of sight. Maybe Something like a Hummer 3D. Same as Daft, but they're cheap. They're easily fixable. It's a true fixed wing model with ailerons and a rudder and an elevator on the back. And you can do crazy stuff with them, and all the parts to go on them are really, really cheap. So, Lee, maybe that's a suggestion for you. Bernie says, everyone suggests a different centre of gravity for the Mini Talon. So, Bernie, my suggested Mini Talon centre of gravity, and it's the one which I use and should only ever use after my last experiences, is that on the main spar underneath, there's a little ridge just in front of that, and that's where I balance mine. And yes, I know that's nose heavy, but with the other version, well, version 1, I had zero issues with it at all as far as the centre of gravity. The second time around, when Matt forgot to check it and it was behind the spar, it was a right handful and I stuffed it in the ground. So centre of gravity for me, Bernie, front spar, come forward just a touch. There's a little ridge of foam which has been inserted in there to hold the outer or the inner spar, and that is the place where I suggest you put the CG. Okay, and you can't go wrong with that one. And that's my experience for like 6-7 months of flying a Mini Talon. You really, really cannot go wrong. Joe says, Radians have plastic prop adapters. Total POS. Unfortunately, that probably is the case. I know I was complaining about that one a few moments ago, which you can see up there on the camera. But actually putting that knife on there, you can really hear it hitting the glass fibre pieces in there. So it's hopefully ABS with some glass fibre in it as well. So it should be quite tough plastic. So I'm not that... it would be better if it was machined aluminium. I'm sure it costs about 10 times more to do that, but hey ho, we do get that on the F Extra. That is a machined aluminium piece. So a quick look at your chat as well. Moving down there, Joe says, putting the S800 for a soccer goal post was a thrill. Line of sight is a thrill. Yeah, that's good fun. Also, Joe, it's also really good fun line of sight as well. Sorry, via FPV. And if you're looking for a challenge, if you've got goal posts near you, is to fly through FPV, come out there, and then do a big loop, and then go back through. Try that. And then if you got that nailed, do 2 rolls at the top, and then come back through. If you really far better pilot than me, try doing it inverted. We still have, none of us have yet managed to do dead man's arm inverted. That is on my goal. That is definitely on my to-do list, to go through dead man's arm inverted, and of course then that will build up to balls deep inverted as well. And those of you which know our flying locations will recognise those places from previous videos. Quickly looking at the chat on here, getting spoiled with iNav, hit a button, loiter, grab chair. Henry, absolutely, I do agree with you with the return to home feature, again in iNav and in the Vector as well. It's brilliant. Get the model in the sky. Normally, once you've got it trimmed in and everything, you launch with a stabilised mode, goes off like a peach, hit return to home, wanders around in the sky, you get in your seat, settle down, chill out, and then go for a jolly. Brilliant. Absolutely agree with you. Brian says, anyone have a suggestion for a belly skid on the S800? Brian, all I've done on my S800 is to just put a little bit of E6000 or goop glue on the skids which are underneath. Also, what you can do, don't forget the 2 skids on the underside, on the outside edges as well. That has worked really, really well for me. I'm just thinking back to my the version 1 which I had, is the outside skids were starting to show signs of wear only after a couple of flights. So I learned that for V2. Make sure you put a bit of glue on the outside skids as well. So a quick look. Belly tape is good enough, Bernie. I kind of agree with you. If somebody can't view the live version, just hit refresh. Just got another duct tape. Yeah, Runaway, I do agree with you. Duct tape works for everything, especially if you can get your hands on some black duct tape. Assuming that you were using the black version, the V2, which is just using the V1, which is the black version. That, yeah, works absolutely really, really well. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, just good quality tape. And Bernie, yeah, I prefer nose heavy. Yeah, if you Bernie, if you're ever in any doubt, and please learn from my screw up a couple of days ago, is that if you're in any doubt at all, just make it nose heavy. And if you're still unsure, make it really, really nose heavy. So you can't go wrong. You can always go backwards once you know that it's flying, and you can, yeah. Anyway, you know the drill. Right. On that note, it is time for me to wrap up. I am just going to quickly reiterate some of the things which we were chatting about at the beginning. The first thing was Toothless has arrived. This does look like a simple build. I'm guessing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. I think I might be alright to put 8 screws into a model. That was pretty straightforward. Remember, I also said with this with the Excalibur, is that from my previous experience with the Tundra, I will just sanity check each of the servos first. It saves any frustrations later. Okay, I will be setting mine up with flapperons, just to knock a bit of the speed off this one. Again, the Excalibur is known to like to carry the speed with her. And again, I'm also thinking about some of the places where I fly, especially one of the sites where you have literally zero room on the edge of a slope to land, or you get so much down current from the air is that it just really chucks the model in the ground. So being able to get in and get quickly on your own terms is a big thing. So we will have flapperons on this one, just to knock some of the speed off. Or was it spoilerons? Whichever. So yeah, 100 quid, absolute bargain. Again, I've got to apologise. This one has been arrived this morning, and I did check on the HobbyKing website, and it's gone back up to full price of 130 quid. So do look out for them if they do go on sale. They do go on sale from time to time. I kind of resisted the last couple of times, and then damn HobbyKing, they put it on sale again. Anyway. Mine will be primarily used for just line of sight flying on the flight line or slope soaring as well. So nice combo on that one. Also, the wingspan at 1.6 meters isn't crazy, and it'll quite easily fit in the boot of the car. So that makes it, again, without having to take the wings off. And again, if I need to take the wings off, excuse me, it's only 4 screws. I think I can cope with that. And again, I'll keep that screwdriver because it was a really good one. Also on my list here, the EV100 FPV goggles winner, that giveaway in the Facebook group, the winner will find out today. But like I said, there's 4 runner-ups, and I want to do a little mini video on that one as well, so I'll publish that in the Facebook group later this morning. I will put a link to the Facebook group in the video description after this video is finished as well. Do look out for a giveaway video as well. I've got a collection of stuff here to give away. I bought it absolutely ages ago. Well, I bought it just before Christmas. It's all been and turned up. It's been here for too long. I meant to do that for a 5,000 subscriber thing on YouTube. Kind of hit 7 now, so it's about time we do that as well. So do look out for that. The Wild Things, they've both been built and flown. The mini Wild Thing, that's mine. I bought that out of my own money, just like this Excalibur, from my own abuses. That one is definitely staying. Right little handful. There will be a video out on that one. It'll be like a quick overview, and then off to the slope for its first flight, which was interesting, to say the least. So we will get a video out on that one. Also, the Wild Thing 46-inch has been built. That's also been made in as well. Look out for a giveaway for that one too. That will become in the next week or so too. And like I said, the Wild Thing 46, I will send that one anywhere in the world to whoever the lucky winner is. And I will be classing that one as a model for life, because they are just such robust models, to say the least. Literally, to fix it, all you're going to need is a couple of bits of tape and you're away. Brilliant. Let's have a quick look at your chat before we wrap up. Trim jig. Dan Moore. Hi Matt, did you use the trim jig for the mini Drac? No Dan, I didn't. I don't even know what the trim jig is for the mini Drac. I kind of flew mine au naturel and almost left brown patches on the ground. If you don't know what happens with the mini Drac Maiden, go and type in mini Drac in the search box on my channel, and you'll see the Maiden. It was one of the scariest, I'm not going to say the scariest Maiden that I've ever had. That was the XUAV Clouds, which a model which took me 10 weeks to make, I think, and then I threw it. And then it turned out that we had the elevator the wrong way round in the vector. So up was down and down was up. And it did a great big loop in front of me. scariest maiden I've ever done, to say the least. And anyway, coming back to the mini track. When it comes to the mini track, remember it is a forward swept wing. Okay, so any model with forward swept wings, you basically need half the aileron movement compared to the elevator. So you need lots and lots of elevator movement, so both surfaces need to come up and down quite a bit. Obviously not that much, just maybe a centimetre up and down. Whereas aileron in the roll axis, okay, you only need a little bit of movement. Because of the forward swept wing, it really does amplify the roll axis, so please learn from my mistake on that one. Probably about, if you're using the Tyrannus, probably about 50% movement for the roll axis or ailerons, and your mixing would be suggested with plenty of expo as well, like 40-50 expo as well, just until you get that model, just until you get used to that model. Right, moving on from your chap. No idea. Right, I'm just carrying on. And again, you can see the chat which has been going on here. I've just had to pause for a moment to read that. Right, on that note, it is time for me to wrap up. I would like to say a massive thank you to you for taking the time to watch this episode. In this episode, we had a bit of a chit chat. Apologies, it's a bit of a late RC coffee chat, to be honest. I need to go and do some work in a minute, so work is very busy for me at the moment, and no apologies for that because it does pay for models. So, and by the way, never apologise for not being on one of these live sessions because you're working or whatever. Because remember, work pays for models, and it's a hobby after all. That said, we've covered quite a lot, and it really is time for me to go. So, with that, on that note, for myself, Matt, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this episode. Remember, if you have enjoyed this advert-free video, do me a favour, hit the thumbs up underneath this video. And do keep in the back of your mind, 99% of all the videos which I do publish on YouTube do not include adverts, mainly because I hate bastard adverts on YouTube. But shh, don't tell YouTube that. It's a broken model. Anyway, it's time for me to go. If you're out flying today, have fun. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we might get some snow here in Bristonia in the next couple of days, and hopefully we'll go out and find some snow. But knowing what Bristonia is like, and there's me looking out the window, knowing what Bristonia is like, we normally miss all of the good stuff, and it will just be cold and chilly. Who knows? Look out, and you'll find out what's going on shortly. Anyway, from myself, Matt, cheerios, thanks for joining. Ooh, knock the laptop off the side, and let's go and get ourselves shut down. See you in the Facebook group. Ta-ra's!